really wasn't sure what to do when all of a sudden it became clear what I needed to do. Yeah, December 7th, 1941, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. That, of course, changed everyone's life in our country, and yours and mine, right? Here we are because of that. And it became pretty clear to me and to my editors that just as I had gone to England to cover the bombing campaign, so it was going to be important that I go back to cover the military buildup that was taking place there. I mean, we were moving forces after Japan declared war on us. We declared war on Japan, and Germany declared war on us. We're moving our military forces over to England to begin planning for an invasion at some point of France. And I needed to be there. I wanted to be there to cover it. So I got back to England and visiting with people, and I learned that while there's plans for the big invasion, there's also plans for a preliminary invasion that was going to take place in the southern part of Europe. In fact, it was going to begin in North Africa. So I talked with the military leaders and asked if I could tag along and go out and cover the stories of our forces as they begin their combat in North Africa. That invasion in North Africa would then lead to the invasion into Italy. Well, I got permission to tag along and officially became what you know of today as a war correspondent, representing the Scripps Howard newspapers. So off we went to North Africa. I got issued my gear, my helmet and canteen, my bedding, and some gas mask and uniforms and stuff. And off we went. One thing you won't see here, though, is you won't see a weapon. Not the one that fires bullets, at least. This is the only weapon that correspondents get to carry. This one right here, my trusty Corona. Yeah. And the only bullets? Letters that I type on a page. But they tell me, the military leaders tell me that's an important part of the contribution, too, to the war effort, informing people back home. And my words were certainly proven to be important. So we landed at Iran in November of 1942. Now, Jack, were you already in the service by then? Okay. Yeah, so you were going to be starting training and stuff before you get with the infantry? Okay. Well, spent the first few weeks in North Africa at an Army airfield. That was a comfortable spot for me. I was familiar with air and aviation, visiting with mechanics and pilots and things. And after a couple weeks, I thought, well, I better give a little bit of time to the infantry, too. So I got with the Army infantry in North Africa, and I was amazed. You know what, Jack? I bonded with them, and they with me. And it surprised me because, remember, this is the guy that hates the farm. This is the guy that hates the sun and the sweat and the hard work. But I loved the infantry. I just experienced with them a bond that I had not experienced with anyone else. And I also experienced with them their combat. That was something that gave me even a deeper respect and admiration for them. I got to say, I've come to love you guys, Jack. I mean, you guys are the foundation of the entire military operation. So I spent a lot of time. I spent time visiting with them, just talking, playing cards, jabbering, eating with them. Learned pretty quickly about the joy of K rations. I spent time sharing smokes with them. And too much of that, by the way, as I'm sure you probably know, most of us tend to get to the cigarettes pretty quickly and for a long time. It's just one of the few comforts that we have from home. I learned to live in the field. The farm boy finally learns how to make it on the ground. Hard living, but refreshingly basic, simple, just the basics of life, the necessities. Not only that, I learned how to bathe in a helmet. I never thought I'd be able to be doing that. Became one of them, all for the grand purpose of being able to capture their stories and tell the folks back home what heroic guys these are that they send from Main Street and from the small towns.